Back and enjoy state tournament basketball from the Assembly Hall. Controlled by Winchester, and it's Kim Day, number 50, and here's Day working out front to sophomore guard Jimmy Evans. Immediately, Hoopeston in that zone defense. Backdoor, inside. Shot is blocked on the inside by Bush. Taken by Mark Cox, and Bush swats away the first effort of the afternoon. Down quickly, Hoopeston East Lynn on the attack. They go to Bush inside. Fires up an air ball off the floor. With it is Joe Little. And they lose it out of bounds. So the Corn Jerkers will inbound the basketball. You get a look at that Winchester defense, Bob, the first trip down?
I didn't get a chance to, Art, really yet.
Looks like they're zoning, doesn't it?
I would say that I would.
You would at Ridgeway, huh?
I sure would. A lot of it.
Here's Root with the pull-up. Kevin Root.
Root's been here before, Art.
Yeah, very confidently got in the paint. Hit the PJ, as Ron Nikovich calls him. The pull-up jump shot. It's 2-0 ball game. The lead to Hoopeston East Lynn. Little trapping type of zone pressure as the Wildcats try to break it, and finally they do across to Jimmy Evans. Evans, a sophomore guard. What a thrill for a sophomore playing in a state tournament, huh? He's going to think it happens every year. Here's Henry Lights. They go baseline. Back out to Kent Day, number 50. Around the zone defense. Over here on the right side of the zone to Joe Little. Back out from the point now to Jimmy Evans. Very patient, this Winchester ball club. That's the book on them. They've been patient successfully 29 out of 32 times this season. 29-3 record. Evans picks it off. Pushed up by Henry Lights. But here's Winchester getting the rebound right back. 2-0 Hoopeston leading. Randy Feller over on the Hoopeston East Lynn bench directing his defense to be patient as well. Over the zone. Gets in and out, and the rebound pulled down by Steve Toth. Toth snags it out of there, pulls it down quickly for the Corn Jerkers. They're down on the attack. Steve Rikas, number 22, to their sophomore guard, Brad Meisner. Now to Toth. See where Bush goes. Look for Bush, number 54. Now you see him swinging right side of the lane as we view it, as you look at it, right side of the free throw lane. Penetration. Shot is up and in, and a good move by Brad Meisner. Sophomore looks like he's been around a little bit too, Bob.
Well, actually, the defense followed Dave Bush out of the middle of the lane there and gave him a layup lane.
Well, you've got to keep your eye on Bush. Winchester down quickly. Can't buy one as yet. Rikas takes the rebound. The pull-up by Ken Day, as you saw, didn't go, and Rikas across on the attack for Hoopeston East Lynn. Out to Meisner. Bush, the big guy, 6'10½", holds the ball high as he comes right back out front to Kevin Root. There's Root taking his man inside to about 10. Neither team warm at the start, both a little bit tight at the start of this one. Ken Day with the rebound for the Wildcats. Enrollment 255. The enrollment at Hoopeston East Lynn is 407. Out on the point once again is Jimmy Evans, the sophomore. In the middle, they flash the ball. Nice turnaround. That's Mark Cox. He's the team scoring leader from the field. He shoots it at a 67% clip. So he knows where the hoop is, Bob.
That's good. It was a good move to get in there. They took Dave Bush out of the middle a little bit, and he wasn't intimidated.
Notice Bush, he's gained about 10 pounds a year, Art, as we come down each year, and he's up to 200 pounds now, and he knows how to use the body.
Bob Dallas will say it. He's still pretty thin, but he is a much more physical player. A little extra bulk doesn't hurt him at all. Toth had the turnaround. He's wearing number 15, and good scrappy rebound by the Wildcats, yanked out of there by Joe Little. Little is 6'1". He's a senior guard. Now they have Bush actually playing not a wing position. It looks like a 2-1-2 zone to me, Bob, on the drive.
Yes, Art. He's playing in the corner now. He's not playing in the middle. I'd say that Mark Cox enjoys that a little more.
I would think so. Ken Day got the drive-in bucket for Winchester to tie it at 4 apiece. Rikas to Bush. Out front now on the point. They go to Bush once again. Here's Meisner, traveling violation. A little interesting, not particularly unusual, but that both teams go with sophomore point guards here, and both have reached the quarterfinal tournament. They won the Havana Holiday Tournament. We'll take a look at Hoopeston East Lynn's mark. They've won 25 games in a row. Winchester ball handling, and they're traveling purple. Out front to Evans. Jimmy Evans, nothing but net. And that's the first lead for Winchester in the ball game. The Wildcats go up 2 at 6-4. Across for Hoopeston East Lynn is Meisner. They have Root in one corner. Rikas is number 22. Toth is number 15. He fires it, and Mark Cox throws it down. Cox, a big, strong guy on the inside. 6'4", 180, a 17-year-old senior. Wildcats down. They lead it by 2. Another perimeter shot over the zone defense. And apparently that's going to be the Winchester game. Ball is scrambled for, and Meisner comes out for Hoopeston East Lynn to Rikas. Rikas on the drive, loses it, picked up by Root. Kevin Root pokes it in for his second field goal, and it's a 6-6 contest. Hoopeston East Lynn draws even on Root's field goal. In the center circle, Mark Cox off to Ken Day. Day slows it down as the defense sets, knocked out of bounds here by number 23, Brad Meisner. Meisner, 6'3", a 165-pound sophomore. Nice size sophomore, Bob.
Yes, he is. All right, getting back to the defense here. Actually, Dave Bush is still the tendency to play seems like on the face line, but when he goes out of there, well, they're in trouble.
They got Tolch in the middle of the zone, number 15. All right, here working on Bush's Day. First shot was blocked, second shot misfired, and Tolch rebounds it. All right, the corn jerkers on the attack. They come down to Meisner. Meisner to Bush. He tried to drive the baseline. The rule is going to be stepped out of bounds. Timeout taken. And one of your network sponsors, DeKalb Kaiser Genetics, by the smaller Winchester ball club, particularly on the defensive board.
I would say, Art, that they're going to have to get the ball into Bush a little bit more. He's turned down 3 or 4 opportunities to shoot.
Here's your turnover listing. Not a big factor yet. The steal by Rikas for 2. Pretty play by Steve Rikas. Hoopeston East Lynn has that great quickness, and that's really the first time they've been able to exhibit it here in the first period. They lead it by 2. Corn jerkers on top, 8-6. Art Kimball, Bob Dallas, and Frank Fasoni with you from Champaign, the Assembly Hall. Here's the pull-up. Outer iron. The rebound goes to Tolch as Ken Day couldn't get the shot to stick.
Art, I noticed that Bush gets out on that fast break. He leads it a lot of times.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. He wheels it pretty good. Bush down low. Here's Root. Rebound is off the floor and controlled by Mark Cox.
And they're playing man-to-man straight up against Bush inside and just putting a man behind him. They should shove the ball inside to him more on the low block.
I agree with that.
The philosophy trying to match up with Bush is interesting, but keeping the ball away from him is the big problem. That's what they're doing. That shot goes to Ken Day. That's the greatest defense in the world. You keep the ball out of the scorer's hands. And we're tied at 8. Let's see where Bush is now. Keep an eye on him. Number 54. Tolch almost traveled. Oh, he leaned and leaned. Just pulled up in time. Root to Meisner. Here's Rikas. Now Bush. They swung Bush way out the outside. On him primarily is Mark Cox. And there's the bomb by Root. Kevin Root has 6 of the 10 Hoopeston East Lynn points. He scored 30 points in a tournament game last year, didn't he, gentlemen? I can't recall who it was against. But he can fill it up. 10-8 ball game. Winchester now looking for a tie with 1:05 to go opening quarter. Cross court and Steve Rikas with the interception. Rikas picks it off for Hoopeston. Up come the corn jerkers. Here's Root right back to Rikas. Rebound, good rebound by Ken Day. Day strong board man, 6'1", a 170-pound senior. Off now to Joe Little. Back out front to Evans. And once again, Winchester with a chance to tie. Evans from the twilight zone, back iron. Rebound, foul. First foul of the ball game. We have played to the 42nd mark in the first quarter, and that's the first personal foul whistled, and this one is going to go.
Hey, he was on his back. He went over the top. It was a good call. No way he could get the rebound that foul.
Ken Day picked up the personal foul.
I still can't understand why the big Dave Bush isn't getting the ball one-on-one inside there. He's giving up about 7 inches.
Winchester man-to-man. They played a little zone, it looked like early, but they're definitely a man-to-man ball club right now and have been most of this quarter. So we kind of miscalled it for you. I thought they were in a zone early, but since they changed their defensive strategy on Bush, they've gone man.
Mark Cox is playing him head-on, man-to-man, and giving up about 7 inches. 6 inches, I'd see him get the ball more often.
Henry Lights picks up his first personal foul. There you get a good look at Henry, and it's a common violation. Hoopeston East Lynn inbounds it. Controlling is Brad Meisner. Meisner, the sophomore guard, off to Rikas, down to Steve Tolch. Here is Bush. Yeah, Bush didn't go to the basket. And that wasn't Bush either. It was, pardon me, it was Meisner. Down the floor quickly, Winchester to Evans. The Winchester break, it was Little actually with the assist to Evans, and that's it at the end of the quarter. And at the end of one period, we've got a tie in the Assembly Hall. Hoopeston East Lynn and Winchester deadlocked at 10 apiece, and one of your network sponsors is Deutsch Alice. All right, here's that last play of the period, Bob. The bucket by Jimmy Evans.
Made a good move here and hit the open man. And of course, that was created by a turnover on the other end. All right.
Henry Lights actually had the assist. I said Joe Little, but Lights set up Evans for the bucket.
Field goal percentage shows Hoopeston with 45 and Winchester with 36 in the first quarter.
Very tight ball game, obviously, with a 10-10 score, and Winchester certainly getting the job done with that man-to-man defense thus far. Route number 30, Bush now being covered from behind by Mark Cox. They've got a lot of faith in Mark Cox's ability at both ends of the floor. Of that, there's little doubt. Here is Kevin Root. Root is being covered by number 24, Henry Light, and he's done a pretty good job on Root. He's a handful. Tote to Meisner. Rebound, Bush, the big guy, right back off to Tote. Short poke, no good. Rebound, chip on the inside, not controlled. And finally yanked out of there by Winchester. It looked to me like Root may have had the tip on the inside. View was partially obscured. The Wildcats come off with the basketball. And now they're shooting for the lead. Evans, left side.
Hoopeston's still staying in sort of a zone, Art. They don't want to leave that middle open.
On the perimeter, it's Joe Little. His first field goal. Little's a 45% field goal shooter. Incredible ball game so far in that we've had only 2 personal fouls whistled in the entire contest, and we're in the second quarter. Right side, Brad Meisner. They kind of swung Meisner now to a forward. There's Root. 8 points for Kevin Root out of his ball club's 12 here in the early going.
Dave Bush has not scored as yet, Art.
Right, 3-quarter court pressure from Hoopeston East Lynn. Here's Evans. Rebound pulled down by Kevin Root, knocked out of bounds as swiping away at the basketball on the inside was Henry Lights. You know, we didn't mention Henry handling the ball a great deal in the first period, Bob, but one reason he's really got tough defensive responsibility. He's taking Kevin Root.
And that's a big afternoon for him.
There he is out front. Tried to steal from behind. Root on the drive. Well, that shows you what happens. If Root gets a step on you, he's a good pull-up jump shooter.
I remember him last year doing the same thing, Art.
14-12, Hoopeston East Lynn leads by a pair. Winchester back down on the attack. In the right corner of the floor with the basketball is Joe Little. Little play in the forward. They have Evans on the point. They're trying to get the ball into Mark Cox. It's tough in the middle of that zone defense. He's their scoring leader, averaging almost 23 a game. Right corner to Joe Little. Here's Little, number 34.
Art, they're playing a 1-3-1 zone, is what it amounts to.
Yeah, well, Root really on the baseline.
Right. And little Steve Rich is outside.
Good backdoor feed for 2. Ken Day off the assist by Mark Cox. They posted Mark Cox up, and he got the bucket. Tied at 14.
Art, I think the tempo of the game favors Winchester. I think they like the slower half-court game. I think Hoopeston East Lynn would like to get the game going up-tempo quicker.
And they got a double dribble on Root out front, and I think the Wildcats are going to his own defense. They're going back to what they started with. And I hope memory serves me correctly, Bob. I would have sworn that Winchester was in a zone in the very early stages.
I agree with you, Art. And then they went to the man-to-man.
Now they're back zone again. They break the pressure to Ken Day. Day to Cox. Oh, he got the roll. The foul's on Bush. First foul on Dave Bush. Well, Mark Cox is a pretty remarkable ball player when you really sort it out. He plays a good defense. Take a look at this, Bob.
You know, he just barely did get him. Off ridiculous. Actually, if he got him at all, it had to be with a little bit with the body. Little brush.
And, of course, Cox got the ball to roll for him.
That's right. If the shot was cut short because shooting over Dave Bush.
That's the first free throw taken here this afternoon. The first of many this weekend, I'm sure. Meisner to Tote. Steve Tote, 6'4", 180, a 16-year-old junior. Off to Root. Pretty pull-up jumper.
Kevin Root's got a hot hand going.
12 of his club's 16 points for Kevin Root.
Good competitor. Good player.
He is.
How do you analyze this zone from the pressure defense from Hoopeston, Bob? Oh, there's a big call. There's a big call. Dave Bush just picked up his second personal foul. And it was a good move on the part of Ken Day, who put the ball on the deck and tried to go to the hoop hard. And actually, Bush appeared to catch him with the knee. It's a common violation. Will be inbounded by the Wildcats of Winchester.
Yeah, he can never get there. It gets set up.
Inbounded by Joe Little, number 34. Out front to number 20. That's Jimmy Evans, the sophomore, 5'7", 130-pounder. They go low to Mark Cox. Back in on the baseline today on the perimeter. Lights, the shot spins out. On the rebound is controlled by Bush. Off now quickly to Meisner, the sophomore on the drive for Hoops. Oh, and a great block inside. Was that the little guy, Evans, who got over there and swatted it away? I think it was.
Very good.
There you get a look at the Winchester fans. They're here in numbers, as are the Hoopeston fans. 16 apiece. Bush. Rebound, Root.
I guess that was a pass, Art.
Whatever, it worked out.
Yeah, it got there.
18-16. Hornsberger's leading.
Dave Bush is gambling a little bit there with 2 quick fouls on him and possibly getting a 3rd one there. Kind of over defense a little bit on the press.
Well, that's right, and there's been no move by Randy Feller to go to the bench. It was big guy with only 2 personals. Of course, we're about the midway mark in the 2nd quarter. There's the jumper on the baseline by Mark Cox. Won't go. Pulling the ball down is Steve Toast now for Hoopeston East left. Off to Steve Rikas. Rikas across. Rikas being checked out front as he takes a look at the Wildcat zone, which also appears to be a 1-3-1 at this juncture.
That's right, Art.
Meisner, baseline Rikas. Rebound off the floor and controlled by Henry Likes. Likes didn't start. Well, in fact, he started to jump, as you might have noted, and then saw the ball was going to roll to him. 18-16, Hoopeston East led by a pair. Winchester trying to tie it. Likes on the left side. Low to Cox. Cox down the lane to Day. Won't go. Rebound comes long, controlled by Steve Rikas. Long lead down the floor to Bush. Dave Bush at 6'10 and a half. Retrieves the basketball. Stolen away in the corner. Taken away on a fine defensive play by Henry Likes, and now the Wildcats, playing like Wildcats, come roaring right back. They're down 2 with 3:23 to go, and a whale of a first half here in the opening ball game at the Assembly Hall. Mark Day inside. Out to Evans. Evans works now to Joe Little, 6'1", a 150-pound senior. Left corner to Likes. They go into Day. Day in the paint. Going to have to shoot it. Blocked by Bush. Jump ball. Good play by Dave Bush, and boy, you talk about holding your breath, Bob. That would have been 3rd foul.
I was looking to see if it was a 3rd foul on Dave Bush.
He didn't breathe there for about 3 counts until he saw they're going to call it a jump. Well, this year, of course, we have the change of possession rule in high school basketball. The Wildcats have it. Evans working off to Ken Day. Right back to Evans. Here's the cross-court line, intercepted by Rikas. Rikas on the solo for Hoopeston. He's got it.
It comes from a little bit of a lazy pass, Art. Just kind of lazing the ball across court.
A timeout taken by Winchester. They're down 4 at 20-16. And one of your network sponsors is Lasso.
Well, you know, when you're lobbing a ball across court, you're opening things like that up for a guy like Dave, I believe it was
Steve Rikas there.
Steve Rikas, yes.
Kind of a lollipop pass,
That's
wasn't it?
right. Just bat it and run.
Statistically, here's a stat of interest in the 2nd quarter. Hoopeston with a 7-2 edge on the boards in this period. All right, down Winchester. Day out front to Joe Little. 4-point ball game. Hoopeston East Lynn leading. Here's an interception by Dave Bush, and now the Wildcat passing, getting a little bit careless, or the Hoopeston defense becoming more alert, one of the 2. Kevin Root to Toast. Root on the perimeter, looking at that zone defense. Wouldn't be surprised to see Winchester go back man-to-man here pretty quickly. They were getting a lot of mileage out of that.
You sure were.
Toast flares off to Rikas. Top of the circle now, the sophomore guard, Brad Meisner. Into Toast. Toast stripped away. Nice defensive job. Taken away by Henry Likes. He's a heck of a defensive player. On the drive, Evans.
Little Jimmy Evans, a 5'7" sophomore.
He turned her up a gear, didn't he, those last 4 steps?
Real good change speed.
20-18 contest. Hornjerker lead is 2. Meisner to Rikas to Toast. No matter how many times you play in the state tournament, it's always different. I don't care how many veterans you have back. Bush flips it up and misses it. Short turnaround by Dave Bush. He normally will put those down with great regularity.
He might have got fouled then, Art. He might have got hit on the wrist.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't happen to basketball, would it, Bud?
Well, it might. I believe it did then. He was complaining about it as he came down the court.
They look for Day in the middle. Now it's off to Henry Likes. Back out to Evans. Evans now works to Joe Little. Cross court now to Henry Likes. They're trying to get the ball to Cox. No luck, really. Little to Evans. Evans pulls it out. The defensive pressure, of course, is on Cox in the middle as far as Hoopeston's concerned. You can see him trying to get free. Now at the baseline. So taking the shot is Day. Rolls it off. And good rebounding position. Hoopeston squats it away from Cox, and they come up with the basketball. Meisner for Steve Rikas. Off to Kevin Root. Baseline, Meisner. Another good rebound pulled down by Ken Day. I'll tell you, these Wildcats hit you hard on the boards.
I think they want Bush out of the game so he doesn't get his 3rd foul. No, they don't take Bush out. They go out with Tolt.
Yep. Tolt leads. Bush is riding with 2. That's a good point, Frank. I thought that might be the move. Under a minute to go in the half. In the ball game for Hoopeston, by the way, is Brad Pickett, 6'2", 180, a junior. Evans across. Tries to penetrate. Oh, good feed off to a newcomer to the Winchester lineup. That's Jason Brockhouse. He just got the drive-in layup. A 6'1" sophomore.
That's a good way to be indoctrinated, isn't it?
Well, I guess first time he touched the ball in the Assembly Hall, put it in the hole.
That's right.
20-20, 33 seconds to go in the half. Meisner to Kevin Root. Back to Meisner. Back to Root. Around the zone defense. Low to Bush. Inside. Shot no good this time. Taken by Pickett, who's came in the ball game, but he drew a foul. Well, they're going the other way. Let's see how they're going to call it. Foul has been whistled against Brockhouse. Apparently an offensive move he is pushing off. Well, not Brockhouse. They whistled on Brad Pickett.
Steve reaches.
Was it on Rigas? Okay.
Yes.
I thought he signaled 20. Okay, on Rigas. Bush blocks one. Evans rebounds and puts it in. Jimmy Evans powers it off the glass. Winchester leads with 3 seconds to go in the half. Here's Meisner. Cross court. That's it. First half of this basketball game is history, and there you see the fans standing. You have to be looking at the Hoopeston East Lynn fans. But the Winchester fans are delighted as well. You see the halftime score. The Wildcats over the Corn Jerkers by 2. Randy Feller in his 5th year at Hoopeston. He was 5 years at Piper City at Ford Central. He's going against Bob Moore in his 8th year at Winchester, and we've really got a chess match on our hands, Bob Dallas, and a great game to open the quarterfinal round of this tournament.
Well, I'm sure that Randy
There
Feller...
you see Bob over there on the bench.
I'm sure that Randy Feller got across to his boys at the halftime that he must start using Dave Bush, or else Dave Bush is going to start playing a little bit of ball.
All right, Hoopeston has the basketball. Change of possession rule start of the game's second half, and they're working against the zone defense. The Wildcats are sticking with the zone right now. Dave Bush inside. They went to him right away. Can't buy one so far in the ball game. And the little guy on the floor, Jimmy Evans, a 5'7" sophomore, fine, impressive young ball player, squares away and grabs the rebound. Wildcats on the attack. With the basketball in the middle, they get the ball low to Cox. He is not having much shooting luck today either. A rebound attempt by Henry Likes misfires. The Hoopeston looking for the tie, brings it down quickly. Steve Rikas for the Corn Jerkers. To Tolch. Tolch back out there. Root took the jump shot, just lost the basketball. Picked up by Meisner. He pokes it up. Fortunate break there for the Corn Jerkers because Kevin Root lost the ball on the jump shot, but then Brad Meisner found it. 22 apiece. Here's a steal by Rikas. And quickly, 2 straight buckets by the Corn Jerkers, and they lead it by 2. 24-22, just underway third quarter. Now, unlike what Roger Wiseman said at halftime, it looks to me like Hoopeston is trying to steal on the press.
Yeah, I would say they're going for the ball.
Definitely. Joe Little out front. Now Winchester down 2. They got very deliberate in this situation in the first half. They were down 4 on one occasion, came right back against that Hoopeston East Lynn zone. Looks like they might have changed up that zone. That's still a 1-3-1 or a 2-3. On the perimeter. Well, makes no difference to Jimmy Evans, does it?
I think that Dave Bush is playing more into the middle of it right now.
See, and they can gamble on this defense because they got a goalie in Bush.
Right, exactly right. All 4 of them can gamble.
Well, Evans destroyed that logic with the push on the outside. Whistle stopping play as Bush was fouled, I think by Cox on the inside. You know, we talked about Bush not getting untracked offensively this afternoon. Now they call a foul on Ken Day. Foul is on Ken Day. There you see it again, Bob.
That's great. He got him with the body. Just he received the ball.
All right, the inbound pass to Bush. Out front to Meisner. Here's Rikas. Bush. Big guy at 6'10 and a half. Fires, misses again on the inside. But he was fouled, the reason he missed. And I think this one is on Cox. There you see a good look at Mark Cox. Blonde senior better. I was thinking the comment prior to that last foul that Bush isn't having much of a day offensively, nor is Cox.
Well, Cox was held to 4 points, and he averages 22 and a half.
Well, you notice there, again, there's your 7-inch difference on reach. Mark Cox just couldn't get up there and get the ball.
Bush shooting a pair. Bush on the season.
I believe Bush is letting himself get down a little bit.
He's a 71% free throw shooter on the year. 24-24 ball game. Third quarter. And the Bush free throw gives Hoopeston East Lynn a 1-point lead. A lot more pressure. You can see number 22, Steve Rikas, ready to tee off defensively in the backcourt. Driving the ball up now is Joe Little for Winchester. Out front to Mark Cox. Cox gets it off to cool Jimmy Evans. In the middle to Cox. To Likes. They feed low to Ken Day. Knocked away. Taken right back by Likes. Batted out front. There's Jimmy Evans with the recovery. Low to Cox. Cox working against Bush. Leans in. Got it. Basket counts, and he was fouled on the play. Foul is on Kevin Root. That, I'm sure, is a play that all season long has gone successfully for this Wildcat Ball Club. Bob?
Actually, Dave Bush had him defense, and yet here Kevin Root come in from the side and got it. Actually, he didn't need any help on defense.
Winchester 26, Hoopeston East Lynn 25. Isn't that the way it always is, Bob?
Like, you have a 6'10" guy. You think you ought to be able to stop one guy in there.
Well, Mark Cox can't get the free throw down. Winchester with a 1-point lead at 26-25, early stages, chapter 3. Here's Root, lost the ball again on the jump. We're just deflected away for him. Here is Little down quickly, flies down for Winchester. That's about as quick as they picked up the tempo. They beat the press, however, by getting over the timeline quickly. Evans to Little. Joe Little, 6'1", 17-year-old senior. Baseline to Kenny Day for the short jumper. Fires up an air ball. Loose on the floor. Collision. Deflected. Little recovers in the defensive zone about 2 strides, as you saw. And Winchester right back with it. Mark Cox inside. Blocked by Bush. Foul number 3 on Bush. Bush doesn't believe it.
Well, Bush got the block right, but he got it with the body. You know, Art, on this replay you will see, actually, Bush had the easy, clean block.
All right, here we have it right now.
Yet he wanted to crush the ball. Watch, he wants to crush it down. You see?
Yep.
All he had to do was hold it where he had it to start with.
Good point. Cox shooting 2. Well, Mark Cox is asserting himself a lot more in this third quarter, and I imagine the instruction at halftime from both coaches, Frank Bassoni, was relatively similar. We got 2 All-Staters. Let's go to them.
Absolutely. It looks like this basketball. You take one out of the box, a nice flick thing. Looks like the players would like to rub it around in the sand and the dirt a little bit. You notice a lot of times it's just slipped out of their hands.
Exactly right, Frank.
There's the case right there. Rikas. And here's an over and back.
Yes, he did.
Rikas lost control of the ball in the defensive zone. Got it to Meisner, but it was over and back situation, and Hoopeston East Lynn's going to have to take a timeout. Randy Feller calls the timeout. He's down 3. 5:03 to go in the quarter. And one of your network sponsors is Deutsch Alice. Okay, Bob, we're going to have to replay here right prior to the timeout.
Well, actually, he could have received the ball where he was. There's no pressure on him, but he chose to jump back and get it. It was a good call.
Enriquez kind of lost control of the ball in the pass. That's what initiated the whole problem. All right, the Wildcats from Winchester have possession of the basketball. They're out of the Western Illinois Valley Conference. Over near Jacksonville, Scott County. Day's pull up. Battle for the rebound into the corner. It's going to go to Hoopeston East Lynn. Really making a game effort. You have to like Henry Light. Here's a kid hasn't scored a point out there, but he has kept Root from dominating the ball game. He's one of those blue-collar type players I like to talk about, isn't he?
He's done a good job.
Now Winchester with a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, just look at this. And pretty good pressure.
And they get it right back. Day to Evans. 3-on-1. That's the 5th turnover. Charged against Hoopeston East Lynn in this quarter.
Open down a court here, and no one saw him.
Our boy Henry Likes in there again. Henry fouled it up. He broke up what would have been a layup bucket at the attacking end for Hoopeston East Lynn. All right, the ball will be inbounded by the Corn Jerkers. And an airtight struggle. Winchester leading at 28-25. Westchester St. Joseph might be here next week. They're still alive. Dean Pingator's ball club. Knew I'd do that at least once, Frank.
Yeah.
Meisner to Root. Back out to Brad Meisner. Here's Bush. Having just a tough shooting day. The big guy can't get it down. Off the floor. Scramble. They finally clear it to Mark Cox. Good job by Joe Little, who was under all kinds of pressure. Rocked back on his heels and got it out of there. Cox off to Evans. Jimmy Evans across. Right side of the floor now to Joe Little. 2 or 3 of these guys, Lights and Little, are kind of interchangeable for Winchester. They can play both inside or outside, but that time Winchester throws it away, and here's Hoopeston East Lynn. Down 3, Meisner to Rikas. Can't get the layup home. Pulled down by Day. The Wildcats on the prowl. They come up quickly. Jimmy Evans. Evans circles well out on the floor. He looks off to Little now. Joe Little, right corner. To Lights, to Day. Baseline, Evans. Rebound, Toach. Pulling the ball down to Steve Toach for Hoopeston East Lynn. 3 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in the game's third period. Brad Meisner across to Steve Rikas. Rikas now works low to Toach. They're looking for the big guy. Can't find him. Back to Root at the free throw line.
Root has been pretty silent this half. First time he's had a shot.
Yeah, first bucket of the third quarter, and he pulls Hoopeston East Lynn within a point at 28-27. Root with 16 points. Against the pressure, again, very patiently, Winchester clears it. The Wildcats have the basketball. It's Evans. Gets the ball inside to Cox, swatted right back out to Evans. On the baseline, Henry Lights. Rebound pulled down by Steve Toth.
Both teams are pretty cool from the field. All right.
They're not having good shooting quarters at all. Meisner to Rikas to Meisner around the zone. Here's Root. His shot partially blocked. Bush pulls her down. He fires up an air ball. Off the floor, Henry Lights. Stolen back by Steve Toth. Whistle stopping play in the paint. Foul's going to go to Ken Day of Winchester.
Steve Toth has played a nice ball game. Both ends of the court. Done a good job. They're taking Dave Bush out.
Yeah, Bush going to come out for a little breather. The personal foul was whistled on Henry Lights. On Lights, it's foul number 2. Checking in for Hoopeston is Brad Pickett once again, as they're going to give Bush a little bit of a breather. Randy Feller knows the senior veteran not having a real good day. He's going to give him a little bit of a breather, bring him back in. Rebound is controlled by Little. Brad Little has the basketball, or Joe Little, I should say. Right side to Lights. They work low to Cox. In the middle of the day, Day's shot won't stick. On the back iron. Down quickly comes Steve Rikas. Knocked away by Jimmy Evans and out of bounds from behind. Evans very nearly set up a steal for a teammate as he reached in from behind and got away with it. No foul being called. And Hoopeston East Lynn has the basketball with a chance to take the lead. It's a 28-27 ball game. Winchester on top by a point. Ken Day is going to leave, and Jason Brockhouse, 6'1", 170, a 16-year-old sophomore, enters the contest now for the Wildcats from Winchester. Brad Meisner. The Root. Back to Meisner. Travel.
He traveled. That's very shuffle his feet, Art.
Right now we have 3 sophomores on the floor. Brockhouse out there along with Evans for Winchester. And of course, Meisner at that guard slot for Hoopeston East Lynn. Ball is knocked out of bounds. They're going to say deflected out by Rikas. Very, very close to our broadcasting position. It'll be inbounded by Joe Little. The background, you can see Coach Bob Brown, Western Illinois graduate, on the bench for Winchester. And a tough ball game on coaches, a very intense basketball game. 28-27, the lead to Winchester by 1. They break the pressure. Here's Brockhouse on the drive. Rebound deflected and batted back in. Let's see who's going to have possession. Belongs to Hoopeston East Lynn. Both teams have had golden opportunities to have a little run in this quarter. Neither is able to shoot well enough to take advantage of it.
Either one have been shooting well. They have a 10-point lead.
That's right. And there have been virtually no fouls called in the ball game. Here's Meisner. Meisner off the Toth. Pokes it. Got it. Take a look at the turnover count right now. Hoopeston with 12 and Winchester with 8. With 1:22 to go in the third quarter. A foul on Kevin Root. Rather obvious foul. A reach in on Mark Cox. Foul number 2 on Root. Dave Bush is on the bench right now with 3 personal fouls for Hoopeston East Lynn.
Yeah, gets him on the arm here. He grabs his forearm.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. I think I could have called that one.
From here?
Yeah. Ball inbounded now. Jimmy Evans fires a pass from the right corner for Henry Lights and is thrown out of bounds but deflected out. Had some Hoopeston help in getting out of bounds into the radio section over there, and the ball will be inbounded now by the Winchester Wildcats. Joe Little will pull the trigger from the right corner to Henry Lights. In return, faces the basket, cross court to Evans. Evans drifts, he jumps, he got it.
Well, Jimmy Evans having a great afternoon, Art.
Jimmy's like Old Man River. They're throwing long, 2 buckets each quarter, 12 for the ball game, and his club leads it by 1 at 30-29.
Handling the ball well, too.
For a sophomore, Art, they really depend on him.
They sure do. Kevin Root straightens up, and he counters. Kevin Root with a very, very solid game, to say the least. 18 points for Root. Hoopeston East Lynn by 1 at 31-30. Mark Cox at the 10-second line for Winchester. Winchester and Hoopeston East Lynn opening the quarterfinal round here in the Assembly Hall, and Evans puts it on his hip with 34 seconds to go, third period. As Coach Bob Moore said, okay, let's run it down for the good shot. Hoopeston East Lynn 31, Winchester 30. Winchester led by 2 at halftime, 22-20. Kevin Root starts to sneak out, and you may be able to hear Randy Feller in the background yelling, no, no. Stay back in the zone defense. Evans just holds the ball on the hip for the purple-clad Wildcats from Winchester. They'll start to make their move now. 9 seconds to go in the third period. Here's the lob into the right corner. Long push, Brockhouse. Deflected out of bounds. Nowhere near the hoop, of course, and a good reason. It was swatted out by Hoopeston. So with 3 seconds left, the ball being inbounded by the Wildcats. The trigger man is going to be Joe Little. Into Cox. He got it. On the out-of-bounds play, big bucket there by Winchester. There you see the Winchester fans responding as their ball club goes up by 1 and a real bell ringer here after 3 periods. And one of your network sponsors is Lasso. Maybe left in this one. These two teams played an airtight battle throughout. 1-point lead to Winchester. Let's take a look at that out-of-bounds play that gave Winchester the lead, Bob, right at the end of the third quarter.
Frank and I were just talking. We're kind of surprised they didn't have Dave Bush in there on that out-of-bounds play. He could have stopped that ball. On this shot, he'd line him up over the top. Dave Bush could have stopped this.
Well, he didn't because he wasn't in the ball game.
Right.
Mark Cox.
That's true. I'm surprised he wasn't in there at that time.
Well, Bush is back out starting the final period, rebounding 26-21 edge to Hoopeston. Winchester with the lead in the ball as we start the final quarter. Cox can't get it, and Dave Bush with the board for Hoopeston East Lens. To Rikas to Brad Meisner. Meisner being dogged by Jimmy Evans.
Art, the passing game of Hoopeston's not been very sharp either.
Not as sharp as Randy Feller would like it, but Winchester's causing lots of problems. The Wildcats are doing a very good job defensively. Their zone became much more active in the third quarter. Kevin Root, he got it. Boy, that's a roll. 20 points for Kevin Root. That ball rolled around up there and fell through, as you noted. Used every bit of iron on the rim possible. The Wildcats looking for the go-ahead now as Joe Little ball handles well out. 33-32, Hoopeston East Lynn. We're getting to the very critical stages. Colts and Cox there jump off.
Good call. I agree with that call. Very good call.
Probably the first one as a coach you've agreed with all season.
Possibly.
It's about time you agree with the call.
That's possibly right.
Inbound it. Here's Meisner. Bob had a pretty good ball club down at Ridgeway this year, by the way. 121 down there?
Yes, sir. We had a good year.
Oh, Rikas got mugged as he went to the hoop. Evans, the sophomore, came over and cut him off but good, and Steve Rikas will be at the free throw line. That was a big league personal foul by the sophomore, his first one. And going to the line will be Steve Rikas. This is Jimmy Collins from Harrisburg and Steve Morris from Woodlawn. Done a good job of this.
They're really looking for Kevin Root when they're on offense on this end. They're actually playing the ball back to him a lot, trying to isolate him on the weak side.
Well, he's been the closest thing to a hot hand the corn trickers have had this afternoon. Rikas can't get the first throw down. Shooting for the tie, and he can't get it. The rebound, Tim Day. Day's back out there now for the Wildcats from Winchester. Cross court, off to Joe Little. Little out between the circles as he almost was fouled by Brad Meisner, but not quite. They get the ball to Cox in the middle. He was hooked, and the foul goes on Steve Toltz at Hoopeston East Lynn, his first. Personal fouls, gentlemen, have not been a factor in this ball game, as you see Randy Feller and his assistant at Hoopeston. But you wonder if that's not going to be a big factor down the home stretch. Both teams have a lot of fouls to waste, I guess is what I'm saying. This is a common violation. Joe Little will figure it out. Pass to Cox. They overthrew him, Mr. Shade, and the steal goes to Hoopeston. Down the floor to Meisner. Meisner can't get it home. Cox got back just enough on defense. Mark Cox to foul up the move to the basket, and the layup was missed, and so Winchester, trailing by 1, has the basketball. Looking for a go-ahead basket. Henry Likes. Low to Cox. Cox goes in, got it, no basket. Offensive foul on Cox. That's been a much discussed rule, I know, in our area of the state this year, Bob, is the automatic negating of the basket on the offensive foul. I think some people like it, some don't.
True. This is a good call here. Irregardless whether the ball goes in the goal or not, it's just wiped off.
Yeah.
2 points is it's not good.
And, of course, that's a rule change that came in a couple of years ago. Sometimes you could award the basket, and now the turnover again by Hoopeston.
You know, Winchester's press is really bothering Hoopeston.
Yeah, it really is.
They've been effective with it.
More effective than I think most would have anticipated it would be. Henry Likes in the left corner now for the Wildcats. They're down 1. Mark Cox, turnaround. It spins out on him, and the rebound, Kevin Root.
David Bush over defense then and let Cox open.
Here's Toltz. Steve Toltz, right side of the floor. Back to Kevin Root. Root's going to pull it up over Cox, and he spun it out. No good. Rebound, Day. Day kind of muscled Bush out of the way. You saw Bush bounce about 5 feet. Here are the Wildcats from Winchester. They're trailing by 1, 5:32 to go in the ballgame. Cox well out on the floor. Right back out to Joe Little, rather deliberately now. And, of course, that's his club stock in trade. It's Jimmy Evans. Been a while since Winchester has scored. Evans fishes the pass to Cox. Cox gets the ball low to Day. Day almost lost it. Back to Evans on the base. Will go. Rebound, Steve Coates for Hoopeston East Lynn. The corn jerker. Leading by 1. Kevin Root cross court to Rikas. Knocked away by Henry Lights. The Lights fouled it.
Surprised to see Rikas pull up and shoot that 15-footer when you had Dave Bush going on the go for an open layup.
All right, we have a timeout taken by Winchester.
Get him real good on the arm.
5:06 left to go in the ball game. Hoopeston East Lynn by 1, and one of your network sponsors is the Cal Pfizer Genetics. 6 seconds left to go in this ball game. A one-pointer. Hoopeston East Lynn leading Winchester 33-32. The Wildcats took the timeout, and Steve Rikas is going to be at the free throw line where he missed his last 2 attempts.
I bet this is the first ball game that Dave Bush can remember in a long time he hasn't had a field goal.
I would think so. Has scored 1 point.
One free throw.
Of course, Bush is a 6 foot 10.5-inch, 200-pound, 17-year-old senior center for Hoopeston East Lynn. Rikas at the line, big throw, and he got it. One more throw, you get a good look at Steve Rikas. Second one rattles around and won't go, and Mark Cox has the rebound. 34-32, Hoopeston by a pair. Little clears. So Mark Cox is now Hoopeston really pressure all over the floor for the basketball. They claim that they forced the turnover. However, the official Jim Collins on the sideline says no, it goes right back to Winchester. Western Illinois Valley Conference against Hoopeston East Lynn from the Waseca Conference. Inbound to Jimmy Evans. Over and back violation. Over and back against the Wildcats. Big turnover at this point. 34-32. Hoopeston East Lynn with a 2-point lead and the basketball. 4:51 left to go. A long, long way to go in the ball game. Not a lot of scoring in this one, obviously. Here's Kevin Root. Root wants to direct Meisner in the left corner. They go to Bush. Bush right back to Brad Meisner. Pushes up the bomb. It's no good. And Tim Day. You can see Day plant himself with a rebound, but he lost it. Taken away by Steve Rikas. To Kevin Root. He has a 14-foot pull-up. Got it. Basket counts. Foul by Henry Lights.
It's a big basket, Art.
I guess.
Kevin Root has done it all this afternoon.
4 fouls on Henry Lights. Well, for Root, that's 22 points.
They did. Gave him a good whack here. Root had good balance on his shot, the reason it went in.
When he got the free throw, big 3-point play. Suddenly the biggest lead of the ball game. Hoopeston East Lynn by 5 at 37-32. Wildcats. Joe Little comes to the 10-second line. Winchester desperately needs to score. This trip down. They lob over to Mark Cox. Cox gets the ball to Day at the baseline to Lights. Having trouble. Blocked by Coates. And the corn jerkers come out with the basketball. Meisner brings it up. Meisner to Rikas. Rikas on the pull-up. Pulled out of there by Mark Cox, and Winchester brings it right back. Rikas was slightly shaken up, but you can see him back up playing defense now on Evans. Up quickly, Winchester. Right now, Hoopeston is forcing Winchester out of their deliberate style. They're going to have to go to the basket. They're down 5, 37-32. Holding high on the right side is Little. Clears it back out front now to Jimmy Evans. Evans looking inside. Cox at the high post. They have Lights in the left corner. Winchester has not been shooting well in the second half either. Cox on the dribble drive. Big basket there. Big basket by Mark Cox of Winchester.
Went right around Dave Bush.
37-34. 3-point lead. Hoopeston East Lynn. 3:29 to go in the ball game. The corn jerkers with the basketball. A 3-point lead. Kevin Root loses the basketball to Jimmy Evans. So now Winchester with a chance to pull within a point. They're down 1 with the basketball. Another big trip for Winchester. Also a big trip defensively for Hoopeston East Lynn. Well, out on the floor, Little goes all the way in the corner to Lights. Lights lobs into Mark Cox. Cox straight up. Shot was deflected. No whistle. Here is Day. Day's return effort. And here's Winchester back within a point. That's a 3-minute mark. Hoopeston East Lynn 37, Winchester 36. Art Kimball, Frank Lassoni, and Bob Dallas with you from the Assembly Hall in Champaign. In a dandy quarterfinal opener. Bush posting up inside. Meisner out front to Root. To David Bush. Bush to Tolt. 37-36, Hoopeston East Lynn.
Bush is refusing to shoot, Art.
Root isn't. Kevin Root got it down. Big field goal for Root. 24 points, hurriedly counting. Hoopeston 39, Winchester 36. Jimmy Evans with 2:29 left to go in the ball game. Across quickly to Joe Little. Down to Henry Likes. Likes pass intercepted. Big turnover there. Rikas with the basketball for the Corn Jerker. Bounce pass to Bush for the layup. It won't go, and he was fouled. He was fouled on the inside by Joe Little. And still, incredibly, Dave Bush hasn't had a field goal in this ball game. He'll be at the line shooting a pair.
He has an opportunity there. All right, he brought the ball down awfully low. You'll notice it. He didn't get the ball up, but he went to shoot it.
He was really disgusted that he missed this one, and it's been one of those days for Bush.
You know, he rather than give him a sure two, make him earn it at the free throw line. It was a good foul, actually.
Yep. His ball club is up 3.
Even a lot better foul now.
Okay, one more shot coming to Dave Bush. 39-36. Hoopeston East Lynn by 3. There's your free throw shooting. So you can see neither team has exactly set any record. Second throw, no good.
3 for 9.
Rebound is controlled here by Henry Lights. They get the ball off to Joe Little. Little brings it up. Knocked away. Stolen. Taken away by Rikas. Rikas on the drive. Foul by Evans. The basket's going to go.
Give me 2 shots on this, Art. That was an intentional foul. Possibly maybe 2 shots.
What a great play by Rikas. Rikas forced the turnover, came up with a steal.
Only one.
3/4 of the court. We're going to have a timeout. Let's look at the replay first.
Actually, Art, we can call it intentional foul here. Watch. Intentional foul pushing. You know, it wouldn't have been a bad call to give him 2 shots. I think this is what Coach Randy Fowler is talking about.
Okay, that's our situation. 2:03 to go. Hoopeston East Lynn by 5. And one of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance. There's the Hoopeston East Lynn. Steve Rikas forced a big turnover just prior to the timeout. Came down the floor and incredibly got the shot home after being clobbered pretty well by Jimmy Evans, who flew back defensively for Winchester.
Rikas has had about 3 opportunities for the layup and missed a couple of others.
Only 1 shot for Rikas at the line. Free throw by Steve. So he completes the 3-point play. Big maneuver by Hoopeston East Lynn. They're up now by 6, their biggest lead, with 2 minutes to go in the ball game. 42-36. Jimmy Evans for the Wildcats. They have a lot of climbing of the mountain to do and not a lot of time to get the job done. Henry Likes. Pass intercepted, picked off by Kevin Root. And now we have the foul against Winchester's Mark Cox. That's his 3rd. Hoopeston East Lynn, which is rather typical of Randy Feller's ball club, making the big plays here with the chips on the line. They've been a bit lethargic this afternoon. I think Randy would say it has not been a great ball game by his kids. There you see the fans, but they're making the plays now.
I think the foul here is through frustration, actually. After losing the ball, they were kind of in desperation going after it here.
Okay, at the line, Kevin Root.
Good foul.
Not necessarily a good foul when you put Root at the line.
True.
Root has really come on. He's had an 8-point final period, 12-point second half, 26-point ball game. So you can see from the free throw line, 70% shooter on the year. Second one is up and in. 44-36. Hoopeston East Lynn now by 8 with 1:40 to go. Ken Day. And now Dave Bush pulls down the defensive rebound, and he's fouled by Mark Cox. Winchester getting a little bit desperate. Not a whole lot they can do. Ball has not dropped for them at all in the second half. In fact, after shooting fairly well on the perimeter in the first half of play, most of the buckets in the second half have come inside for Winchester. In fact, only 2 players have scored, only 3 have scored for Winchester in the second half. There you see it again.
Yeah, same thing. Through desperation, going for the ball. Putting a man that hadn't hit but 1 free throw up there this afternoon, so might have been a good foul.
Bush misses the free throw once again. Davis is not having a good offensive afternoon. 44-36, 8-point lead. Being maintained by Hoopeston East Lynn. The shot misfires, and here come the Corn Jerkers. Knocked away. They get it right back on the deflection off to Bush. He misses the slam dunk. Jimmy Evans up quickly. Pass intercepted by Toltz, but taken right back by Ken Day. Day off to Mark Cox. They're going to call traveling on the Wildcats.
I bet Dave Bush wishes this afternoon was over.
Boy, oh boy. There you see Randy Feller, and I believe that's Wayne Bandy there with him. They can't believe that missed slam dunk either. Rikas, Bush. This time the foul will not go in, but Cox picks up the personal foul and is out of the ball game. We'll see what the situation is going to be. Randy Feller wants a timeout. No, he wants a technical foul, I think. In the meantime, sorting it out, Cox fouls out for Winchester with 1:05 to go in the ball game. Cox leaves, and the timeout has been taken by Hoopeston East Lynn. I think Randy Feller, Bob, at this point, his ball club is up 8 at 44-36. There you see Mark Cox over on the bench. What a great year he's had, completing his career at Winchester, senior veteran, 22.6 average. I would think Randy Feller just wants to calm his kids down here a little bit.
I think
they've turned this thing in their favor. Now they're playing pretty well. He was unhappy, I think, with that last dunk attempt.
Right, and the one before that.
Yeah.
I think that he just wanted to settle Dave Bush down.
Don't forget, gentlemen, coming up next, Teutopolis puts its unbeaten record on the line. They're 30-0. They'll go against Westmont, who's 28-3. And tonight we'll be back at 7 o'clock as Ohio, 27-2 with an enrollment of only 70, goes against Decatur St. Teresa, 22-8, and then Kewanee, 27-3 against West Frankfort in the final game in this first quarterfinal round. And if they're as close as this first one, and they go down to the wire, we'll have ourselves a fun day right through the evening.
Well, you know Ohio's the Mendota Regional Champions, don't you, Frank?
I've figured that out.
Up there in my community right now, and they have gone on from there to write a truly amazing story. But if this first game is typical of what we're going to see down here in the Assembly Hall, the experts are right. It is an extremely well-balanced field. Winchester has played a whale of a ball game, and the more veteran Hoopeston East Lynn ball club, you have to be impressed by them, Bob Dallas. They made the big plays when they had to make them, and they say that's what makes a winner.
Well, that's right. You know, when you have a ball club like Hoopeston, they don't want to lose. If they make the big play to win, they'll do it.
I don't think I want to play Dave Bush the next time around.
I was just thinking the same thing. Frustrating afternoon he's had. I'm sure he'll be tough for the next ball game.
It'll be either Westmont or Teutopolis who have a shot at him tomorrow, and they're thinking the same thing too, no doubt.
Boy, that second game, the one upcoming, this has been a dandy. That could be even better. It'll be it's going to be a great session. Already has been. Second throw by Bush. Dave missed a pair. Rebound Little scrambles for it. We're down to a minute and 2 in a jump ball situation. It's going to, Winchester's going to get possession. As a coach, Bob, that change of possession rule, do you ever get the ball when you think you should have it?
Well, actually, you know, this just neutralizes a Dave Bush when you have that alternate possession. You know, advantage to having a big center.
All right, Winchester's Day goes to the glass. Brockhouse, by the way, replaced Mark Cox when Mark fouled out. See what the rule's going to be.
They fouled him out high. It's out of bounds, I believe.
Foul is on Rikas. And,
one-on-one.
Yeah, they're in the one-on-one now, although just barely in the one-on-one. At the free throw line will go Ken Day. Day has been limited to 8 points. By the way, Cox had 12 on the ball game. 5 buckets, 2 out of 4 at the line. Free throw by Day. Rebound pulled down by Henry Lights. Lights gets it away again, pokes it up against Battling Bush on the inside. And here is Lights with a good foul against Brad Meisner, and that may be all for Lights. That is.
Dave Bush blocked 2 shots in a row there.
Well, there's no doubt Bush is a factor, and a big factor, because he completely alters what you want to do many, many times. And we, all three of us, have seen him have big offensive days. He's just having an off day, but he's certainly been a factor in the ball game. You certainly can't ignore his presence out there.
Well, if you would notice that when Mark Cox is in the ball game, he's always looking over his shoulder before he shot.
There's the Winchester bench. Henry Lights didn't score this afternoon. He is fouled out. But as we pointed out earlier, really played very, very well, particularly in the first half defensively. He was on Kevin Root, but Root now has 26 points. Free throw by Meisner.
Todd Gregory, number 30, a 5'11 sophomore, has come in for Winchester.
And he replaces Henry Lights, who just fouled out of the ball game. 47 seconds, all that remains. 10-point lead now to Hoopeston East Lynn, and I would say it's the hard way in this one. They lead 46-36. Winchester comes it up against Steve Rikas. That's Jimmy Evans. Evans on the drive. Rebound, Brockhouse. Up and in. Jason Brockhouse with a good power move. Good-looking sophomore. And a foul has been whistled against the Wildcats, and of course they're going to foul to try to stop the clock now. Foul number 3 on Ken Day. So 2 of the starters have fouled out for Bob Brown's Winchester Ball Club. So far in the contest, the big scoring story has to be Kevin Root, and I don't think that surprises anyone who's seen Kevin play down here before. Now we're going to have massive substitution by Winchester. I have Root with 26. Let's see if that's 27.
27, Art.
13 points in the second half and 14 in the first half. So Root with a 27-point performance. Kevin Root. And at the free throw line is Brad Meisner. He's 2 out of 2 up there. The sophomore with a 6-point afternoon. Spun out on him. 46-38. Hoopeston East Lynn just 33 seconds away from moving on. There's the Winchester players bench. You can see Mark Cox there. The ball kind of stretched out. Knowing the inevitable has occurred, the ball club gave it a good shot, but they will fall to Hoopeston East Lynn. Okay, now Winchester with non-starters out there bringing the ball to the floor. That's Brad Slagle, number 22. Also on the floor, Brett Leisman. Leisman has the ball inside, shot over Bush. Up short, rebound Kevin Root down the floor this time to Meisner for the layup. And there's a slam dunk rebound. Dave Bush. His first field goal of the afternoon, he slammed it. 11-point lead to Hoopeston East West. The steal. Here is Root, can make it 29 points, and he does. Kevin Root with the drive in, and it's all over. So Hoopeston East West got the job done really in the fourth period of this ball game. And they will advance to meet the winner of the game upcoming between top-ranked Teutopolis, the Wooden Shoes, and Westmont Sentinels. And, of course, that's the next game on the program this afternoon. So here we have a 51-38 finale. It was an excellent final quarter rush by Hoopeston East Lynn that decided the contest. 26 wins in a row for Hoopeston East Lynn. They go to 31-1. Westchester bows out at 29-4. And